Welcome to the COBE channel. I'm Cynthia Ronquilemos, orthodontist, master student at Federal University of Santa Catarina, and member of the Brazilian Center for Evidence-Based Research COBE. From the video series Things Only COBE Teaches, today I will present how to optimize your work in study selection. Removing duplicate study is a step that can be automated by the reference manager. If you wish to verify the removed items, one way to expedite the process is to list them in alphabetical order. In the Duplicates folder, click on the Titles column to organize the study titles in alphabetical order. This makes it much easier to visually confirm whether a duplicate is indeed a true copy, which can be verified by checking details such as author's name, year, journal, and other relevant information. Duplicate study verification is also conducted within the study selection software, in this case, Rayyan. Although the identification of duplicate studies is automated, the removal process is manual, which can be time consuming if a large number of duplicates remain. To save time, you might consider upgrading to the paid version of the software, which use artificial intelligence to automate the removal of duplicates based on similarity percentage. This upgrade could be a worthwhile investment given the cost benefit. A feature that is often underutilized by users is the activation of highlights. By enabling this function, keywords in titles and abstract are highlighted, making it easier to navigate and assist in the study selection process. To activate the highlights feature in the new version of Rayyan, click on the three dots in the upper right corner and enable the highlights function. This way, keywords for inclusion will be highlighted in green and for exclusion in red. Rayyan software already comes with some preset keywords, but you also have the option to add new ones. Click on Filters and the available filters will appear. Choose Keywords for Include. Click on the three dots on the right side, then select Add Keyword. Type in the new keyword and click Add. Similarly, Pico highlights emphasize words in the title and abstract related to the components of the acronym: population, intervention, comparison, and outcome, helping to verify inclusion and exclusion criteria. When activated, the text is highlighted in yellow for Pico highlights. In Rayyan Legacy, this feature is free, but in the new version, it is available only for members. So, I will show you how the Pico Highlights function looks in the Rayyan Legacy version. Words related to Pico are highlighted in yellow in the text. Still in the Rayyan Legacy version, we can also see how the visualization looks with the both highlights and Pico highlights function activated. Notice that some words are highlighted in yellow while others are in green. If these abstract include words related to non-compliance with the inclusion criteria, those words would be highlighted in red. When we are in the process of selecting studies, they are located in the undecided folder. We can streamline the selection process after calibrating a few studies. By running computer rating, Rayyan, using artificial intelligence, will analyze all relevant articles and provide recommendations to help you make decisions more quickly. The results are displayed in the form of green and red stars, indicating the likelihood of inclusion when there are more green stars, and the likelihood of exclusion when there are more red stars. When a study is excluded, a reason tag can be customized to indicate the reason for exclusion. These reasons are typically related to non-compliance with PICO, study design, publication type, and other factors as well. Studies that receive a specific tag can be grouped and reviewed separately from others, serving as a filter. As a part of the reason functionality, these tags act as reminders during consensus meeting in case of disagreements among reviewers. On this screen, we can see the excluded studies with red tags specifying the reason for their exclusion. We can also observe that some studies have additional blue labels added to further explain the reasons for exclusion. During a consensus meeting, these tags can facilitate discussions among reviewers, helping them reach as agreement more effectively. Now, I will show you how to add a new reason in the Rayyan Legacy version, since only members can add new tags in the latest version. Simple click on the reason field, type the name of the new reason, and press enter. The newly added word will appear in the list of pre-existing reasons. Tags also apply to the reason for including a study, where a label can be added. These labels are not just used for inclusion, they can help identify groups of the studies. Studies that receive a specific label can be recognized as a group and examined separately from others, such as by PICO, study type, and specific outcomes, among others. These functionalities also serve as reminders during the consensus meeting in case of disagreement among reviewers. As we find the full text of included studies, we can add a PDF tag to indicate that the complete text is available for reading. On this screen, we can see the included studies with blue tags specifying the reason for their inclusion. During a consensus meeting, these tags can facilitate discussion among reviewers, helping them reach an agreement more efficiently. I will also show you how to add a new label in the Rayyan Legacy version, as only members can add new tags in the latest version. Simple click in the label field, type the name of the label field, and press enter. The newly added word will appear in the list of the pre-existing labels. And then during the consensus meeting, the blinding condition is set to blind off, allowing reviewers to see the choice made by each other, whether they include or exclude the study. The tags serve as a reminders of the reason for inclusion or for exclusion that each reviewer adds. These can provide the necessary arguments to help reach a consensus on whether to include or exclude the study. Now, let's talk about work mode and pace during the study selection process. 1. Quiet place. Ensure you are in a calm environment to focus. 2. Maximum of 2 hours of continuous reading. Read for up to 2 hours at a time, taking breaks in between to avoid fatigue. 3. You can calculate the number of studies per hour. Determine how many studies can be reviewed per hour to set the pace of work among reviewers. This helps in planning and maintaining a consistent workflow. Fourth, handling articles without abstracts. To avoid interrupting the reading process, mark studies without abstracts as maybe. Once you finish reading all studies with abstracts, you can stop and search online for the missing abstract and then decide, read the text and then decide on inclusion or exclusion the study. This approach can help maintain a steady and efficient pace during a selection process. We can calculate the reading time for the title and abstract screening phase 1, by using a simple rule of 3. If an experienced reviewer can read 100 titles and abstract per hour, you can set up the calculation like this. To find the total time X hour needed to read n title and abstract, you can use the formula 100 to an hour and n studies to X hour and make the rule of 3. This formula will give you an estimate of the total time required for the screening phase based on the number of titles and abstracts to be reviewed. Here's a clean explanation for this example. Number of studies 3,289 studies, screen to phase 1. Estimated time 33 hours, based on the calculation that experienced reviewer can read 100 title and abstract per hour. Planned 10 work days of work, assuming 3 hours for screening per day. In reality, it took us 20 days to complete the work. This example shows that even with careful planning, the actual time required for the screening process can be longer than expected. It is important to be flexible and prepare for potential delays. In phase 2, to calculate the reading time for the full text screening, we can apply the same rule of 3. An experienced reviewer can read 4 full studies per hour, and the calculation will be to find the total time X hour needed to read and full studies, you can use the formula 4 hours to 1 hour and studies to X hours. Though this will give you an estimate time of the total time required for the full text screening phase based on the number of studies to be reviewed. Here a clear explanation. Number of studies 155 studies screened in phase 2. Estimate time 39 hours based on the calculation that an experienced reviewer can read for studied per hour, planned 13 days of work, assuming 3 hours of screening per day. In reality, it took more than 2 months to complete the work. This example shows how the estimated time might not always match the actual time required, highlighting the importance of flexibility in planning and understanding that the process can sometimes take longer than anticipated. Wrapping up our tips on the study selection process, here's a mind map to guide you. First of all, duplicate study. Verify duplicate study in both the reference manager software and the study selection software. If there are many duplicates to remove, consider purchase the paid version. Second, activate keywords. You can use the highlights and pico highlights function to highlight keywords in the text, making dynamic reading easier in the phase 1. Remember, the pico highlights function is only available for the free in Rayyan Legacy version. Third, tagging in study selection. As you go through the study selection process, start adding tags for reason and labels to mark the inclusion or exclusion of studies. At last but not least, computer rating function. After selecting a few studies and calibrate the selection process, you can run the computer rating function to ensure consistency. This mind map will help streamline your study selection process. We hope these tips make the study selection process easier. May you have a great study time.